and welcome to another episode of Meaningful Moments. Today's focus is dealing with difficulties. It is often said that no one gets to parse life without experiencing difficulties, challenges, or unscheduled interruptions. It's just a part of the human experience. I'm amazed at how much can change in a simple day. One phone call, one email, one conversation, or one trip to the doctor, and we can find ourselves completely flustered and stressed out. Who wakes up in the morning with a plan to be completely thrown off course by some bizarre, unexpected set of circumstances? Yet, these things happen. It would be ideal if we lived in a utopian bubble, but we exist in a real world, my friend, that's comprised of good and evil, highs and lows, and we have a free will to make our own choices. These combinations often prevent us from being mentally and spiritually prepared for the unexpected. However, this does not give us a license to throw our hands up and surrender each time crises arrive. Instead, it would be wise for us to consider alternate plans for the what-ifs of life to prevent us from panicking during life's storms. This is one way to deal with difficulties. There was an ancient man who lived probably about 61 years after Christ. His name was Paul, and Paul ended up going to prison for sharing his Christian beliefs. But something remarkable happened during his time of lockup. This guy decided that he was not going to blame everyone in society for his ill fortune, but he decided to deal with his difficulties in a strategic way that actually changed the course of history. Let me explain. This man, Paul, wrote letters from his jail cell, and he encouraged people to have positive responses whenever they encountered hardships. In one of his letters, he gave a lot of practical advice about everyday living because he wanted people who were living every day, in everyday life, to know how to deal with their difficulties. Now, this truth is that if we fail to deal with our difficulties, do you not know that our difficulties will deal with us? I'm going to repeat that. If we fail to deal with our difficulties will deal with us. Now, what astonishes me the most is that instead of Paul being overly concerned about being locked down or his imprisonment, is the fact that he wrote tenaciously to people who were on the outside living free lives. In fact, he wrote in one of his letters, it was the book of Philippians chapter 1 verse 6. Paul says this. He says, "The Heavenly Father who began working in you will continue helping you." That's how he dealt with his difficulty. The question that you might have is, how did he do that? Well, here it is. Paul looked to the Heavenly Father for inner strength whenever he was having a difficult moment. That's how you deal with difficulty.